everyone, welcome to another very late reading wrap up. I'm just having plain warm milk because I have a headache right now and warm milk just calms my nerves. Anyways, I deviated from my TBR this month. I planned to read 5 books and I did read 5 books, but I couldn't read Heavenly Bodies because I got approved for the arc of a very anticipated read, so I read that instead. So yeah, let's just get started. Okay, so first I did a reread of The Ashes and the Star-Cast King by Carissa Broadbent, and I'm very glad that I read the Nightborn duet again before moving on with the rest of the series, because there were just so many details and Easter eggs I picked up on my reread which I missed the first time, and I was already missing Rain and Araya, which is the main couple in this one, so I enjoyed the reread so much and I think it was just as emotional as the first time I read it. Also, since I've read 6 Scorched Roses now, which is a novella in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, I feel like I've appreciated the side characters Vale and Lilith so much more this time. Okay, next I read The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. It's the first book in the Shadowborn duet, and it follows our FMC Misha, who is a turned vampire, and now she is sentenced to death for murdering the vampire prince who turned her. Also, previously she was the acolyte of the sun god, but he took away her magic because she is a vampire now and somehow that makes her tainted. And when she is sentenced to death, the illegitimate prince of this kingdom comes and saves her on the condition that she goes on a mission with him and they travel to the underworld together to resurrect the god of death. I won't say more because it's more fun if you read it without knowing the whole plot, but this book was such a pleasant surprise for me because even though I liked Misha in the first duet when she was just a side character, I wasn't completely obsessed with her or anything, and I never expected for her to have such a tragic backstory. And this book deals with such heavy topics, but in a very sensitive way. And I really felt for these characters. Their pain and trauma was just so heartbreaking. Also, wait, can we talk about the MMC here? Because why is the MMC in this book so underrated? I mean, he's just as good as any of the popular MMCs we talk about. And also, he's very different from Rain. I still can't decide if I like him or Rain more, but while Rain is very playful and witty, Asir is very quiet and gentle, but his quiet rage is still very scary, and he's just as deadly as Rain. Overall, I love this book. I gave it 5 stars, and the epilogue was just chef's kiss. Also, I'm very glad that I waited for the second book to be released before reading this one because I don't think I would have survived such a brutal cliffhanger. Okay, so next I read Fallen in the Kiss of Dusk, of course, which is the second book in the Shadowborn duet, and oh my god, this was so emotionally damaging. The romance in the first one was nice, but in this one, the yearning went through the roof. The romance was just so devastatingly beautiful. And in this one, we see Asir fully in his touch her and die energy. Also, can we talk about Rain and Araya for a second, because I was dying to see them again. I read the Nightbird duet in Feb and I've been missing them so badly ever since. So I was just very happy to see them again. Plot-wise, I'll say Carissa Broadbent did it again. The romance, the fantasy, the world building, everything was done so well and the stakes were really high in this one. And honestly, in my opinion, I guess this is not your average romantasy because the themes and topics discussed in here are very deep. Even the journey through the underworld made me cry on several occasions. It was just very haunting and yet painful and somehow still very beautiful, so it was a 6-star read for me. Also, the ending was so perfect, and the epilogue especially, oh my god, yes, the epilogue made me so excited because the next book is about House of Blood, and I'm very excited to finally see Septimus in action. And the things are getting very serious in this world, so I'm very excited for it. The next book is coming out in, I think, August 2026, yes. Okay, so next I read The Serpent's Bride. This is the arc I was talking about, and I was dying to read it because I heard such good things about it, but I went blind into this, and I think that's the best way to read this book. Like, I didn't know the plot at all, which made it even more interesting. All I knew was that this had vampires, and many book creators which have a similar taste as me enjoyed it, so I had to read it. Honestly, I love anything with vampires, and this turned out to be such a fun read. Our FMC here is an assassin, and she's been training her whole life to take revenge on this man who murdered her family. But that man is a vampire, and his whole family has built a mafia business empire, and this man is getting arranged marriage, and the FMC disguises herself as the bride, and her plan is to kill him and destroy his family from within. Okay, so this was very fast paced. I finished it so quickly and it kept me on my toes the whole time. I couldn't guess any of the plot twists, so 10 out of 10 for that. Also, both the FMC and MMC here are morally grey, but the MMC is a very dark shade of grey. I'll even say he's low-key morally black. And this was so refreshing because mostly when a MMC is marketed as morally grey, he's either a very light shade of grey or he's pretending to be a villain for some greater good. But not in this book. Here you get some truly unhinged characters, and I loved every second of it. The cliffhanger at the end though, I was internally screaming and I need the next book immediately. Also, it just got released on 9th September, so this is the sign to pick it up. Okay, next I read an arc again, and this is House of Bane and Blood. It just got traditionally published on 9th September. It follows our FMC Camilla. She is an heiress to a railway company, and she is forced into a marriage of convenience situation with Nikolai Atano, who is her rival, and his family killed Camilla's father. But him and Camilla comes to a mutual agreement to destroy the bigger enemy. This is set in the post-industrial age and it's inspired by Peaky Blinders. I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't watched Peaky Blinders, but I know it's set in the year 1919, so you get the vibes. I really like the FMC. She's very glamorous and feisty. The MMC was morally grey, and this man knows how to yearn. The chemistry and the push and pull between these two was very nice, and the tension and banter was on point. I will say though, the magic system was a bit difficult for me to wrap my head around, but the world building and the plot were still very entertaining. This had a really nice unhinged found family, and also it had top tier my wife moments. So yeah, it was 4.2 stars for me. I can't wait to read the next book. Okay, so yeah, that was all I read in August. And for September, I have 2 books on my physical TBR and 4 ebooks. 3 of them are arcs. Okay, so I couldn't read Heavenly Bodies last month because I was waiting for a book bestie to finish her current read so we can buddy read it together. And we started it at the end of August, so I'm gonna include it in my September TBR. I also have Metal Slinger on my physical TBR, and I'm really excited for this one. I heard such good things about it, and since September still feels like summer to me, I'm glad I'm reading it before fall, because it has summer vibes in it. Next I have Blood and Betrayals on my TBR. Again, I've heard such good things about it, so very excited to read it. Then I have The Ascended. This one is an arc, and this is by the same authors who wrote Riftmon and Duskbound. Very excited for this one also. Then I have Unraveled. Again, this is an arc, and I have one more arc which is Black Wicket. I don't think I can manage to read all 6 books on my TBR, but it's still nice to have a little variety. So yeah, that was it. Let me know how many books you read last month. I hope you have a lovely reading month, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!